Are you considering going freelance, or maybe you've already taken the plunge? As someone who's been in the game for a while, 10 years to be precise. Oh my god, I'm old. I can tell you that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In fact, I've made some huge mistakes along the way that have cost me money, time, and clients. And that's why in this video I'm sharing with you the top 10 freelancer mistakes that a lot of people make, myself included, so that hopefully you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I personally fell into back in the day. So sit tight, grab a pen and paper, and let's get to it. Mistake number 1 is not doing your research. I usually call this the homework step, and nobody wants to do it, but it's super important. You really want to do research into two things. One, you want to do research into your service that you're planning on offering. And 2, you want to do research into the client that you'll eventually be helping. You can actually, if you don't know, look up jobs and freelancer profiles on Upwork without even having an account, without being logged in. So make the best of that and do your research before you start. Now, mistake number 2 is undervaluing your work. Let's be honest, we're all probably undercharging here, and although you may not want to start at your dream rate, your goal rate, you also don't want to start at $5 an hour. Trust me, I've been there. And I actually did a video all about pricing. I'll link it right here so it can help you hopefully define your pricing and make sure you're not undervaluing yourself, because we all do it. Mistake number 3 is focusing on quantity, not quality. I know this is a very common thought process within freelancing, is the more jobs you apply to, the higher chance you have of getting hired, right? Well, wrong. That's actually the opposite. I feel like if you apply to like 50 jobs in a day, you're likely not spending enough time on each of them, and you're just sending out lackluster proposals, likely a lot of copy and paste, and clients can see through that. Clients will immediately ignore your proposals, so it will be a waste of time, you know? You could have spent the same time or even less time applying to good jobs with good proposals and have a much higher chance of getting noticed and getting hired in the end. So focus on sending good proposals. They don't have to be a mile long at all, but it's important that they are strategic. Next mistake is focusing on yourself rather than in your client. Now, while the previous mistake was mostly geared towards proposals, this one I tend to see both in profiles and proposals. I see a lot of freelancers that like to list their skills, their education, their work history in both these places, and while that's important, it's not what the client wants to hear, unfortunately. Like, the client truly doesn't give a shit. All they care about is how you can help them save their problem. So focus on how you can help them, and if you want to mention maybe your degree that is relevant for your service that you offer, make sure you tie that back into how that helps you help them. Does that make sense? Like, for example, I have a degree in multimedia arts and I sometimes do video editing work. So if I were to say I have a degree in multimedia arts, I would say my degree in multimedia arts allows me to make the best videos for you as possible. That's not very good, but you get the point. And if you're struggling with writing your proposals specifically in a way that attracts the client and shows your value, I recommend you have a look at my proposal review series. I'll link it right here. And you're free to also submit your own proposal to be reviewed right here on the channel. The link is in every one of those videos' descriptions. Next mistake is taking any job. While it might be easy at first to just want to do anything and everything, it's not always the best idea. Again, been there, done that, and to be honest, if you're not sure what you want to offer, it can be a good idea to offer different things and test out different things with some beta clients. For example, I started as a general VA, so I offered email, like inbox management, calendar management, social media, everything like that. And that's actually how I found that I wanted to offer social media full time. So it can be good to explore your options before you settle down in a niche, because I know everyone wants you to niche down, and there's some value in that. But you got to figure it out first, what your niche will be. But that being said, once you know what you want, whether that is from the start or further down the line, you need to stay focused on that one thing and just let go of the rest. It may seem obvious, but trust me, you will be tempted to take on other jobs just because you technically can do it. But that will mean you'll be taking time that you could be focusing on your main service, eventually specializing more in that and developing your skills so that you can, down the line, charge even more for your services because you'll be an expert at that one thing. And we tend to do this as kind of a FOMO reaction. You may think, oh, but if I don't take this job, I won't have another opportunity like this. And if I can do it, I should. It's good money or something like that. But trust me, your ideal client is out there. So don't settle for good when you can have great. Okay? Now, the next mistake is taking work outside the platform. I feel like this is a very common one, but I can never say it too much. Once you go outside the platform, whether that's Upwork, Fiverr, anything else, they can no longer protect you. And you're on your own dealing with clients, however good or bad they may be. And this is like a typical rookie mistake, right? Like you either want to please the client, you want to escape the fees, or whatever other reason you may have. You may just not know any better. But trust me, once again, once you go out of those platforms, you are no longer protected by them and you can fall victim to scams. And trust me, I've talked to many different scammers and heard from many of you about your own scam stories, and they're not only super manipulative and convincing sometimes, but they also never stop once you pay them just once. I actually have an entire playlist. Once again, this video seems like a lot of self-promo, I'm sorry. But I have an entire playlist of scam-related videos, from scam baiting to scam tips to avoid scammers, everything like that. So if you're interested in that and you want to protect yourself, check it out. Link right here. But the next mistake is not having boundaries. Now, I too have fallen into this trap. You will want to work anytime, anywhere, especially if it's something you enjoy doing. You work weekends, you work vacations, you work evenings, and it's all fun and games. And while it may seem productive and even fun, it can and will lead to burnout. Don't let the saying, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, get to you. While it may make it easier to do something you love, you can always be working. It's just not realistic. And it's not sustainable in the long run either. I'm writing this video's outline at 10 p.m. So I should really take my own advice and stop working. And along with that one is the mistake of not reinforcing your boundaries. It's really not enough to have them, guys. You gotta communicate them first to the client and you gotta stick to them. You gotta train your clients. I know. What a concept. I like to tell this story anytime I talk about this because it was a huge turning point for me. I had this client where we had agreed we're going to work, or I'm going to be available from 4 to 7 every day, but I would often reply at 10 p.m. because honestly I had nothing better to do. And then they started expecting me to answer at 10 p.m. and would get mad whenever I didn't. So I had to come outside for these last couple of mistakes because my camera was overheating, so enjoyed the bird noises. Hopefully it's relaxing and not annoying. So mistake number 8 is not asking for feedback. Now, I know it can be hard at first, especially if you're shy to ask for feedback from your clients, or you may simply forget to do it. But this is super important, especially when you're first starting out, to get feedback on whatever platform you're working on, because it builds trust with future clients and makes it more likely for them to hire you. On Upwork, actually, they do automatically ask the client to provide feedback after you're done working with them, after you close the contract. But if you're working on a longer term contract, you can actually ask for feedback after 30 days. So after 30 days of working with that client, you can just go to the contract and just select request public feedback. Now, the next mistake is not growing your business. While you don't need to evolve into an agency and hire people and all that stuff if you don't want to, you do need to evolve. You need to evolve in your skills, your service offerings, and of course, your rates. I like to regularly look at my packages to see what I still want to offer versus what I just want to let go of. And I also love taking courses to either learn new skills or improve in my current ones so that I can confidently charge those higher rates. Speaking of courses, my freelance level up course will help you get your first client on Upwork. Inside, I teach you everything I've learned over the past 10 years, from the research stage to working with clients, including a profile and proposal template, as well as many other helpful resources that I use every day in my freelance business. So it's basically this video times 100. And what's best is that your first client alone should cover the cost of the course and then some, so that you can treat yourself to something fun. You can sign up with the link below and I'll see you inside.